Okay, next lesson for you today, we're going to be extending our trigonometric knowledge. First thing I want you to do, there are 6 questions in front of you. I want to know what you would use to find the missing side or angle. Okay, it'll either be Pythagoras, sine, cosine or tangent. I want you to pause the video now and write in which one you would use. By all means, you can go all the way through to finding that missing side or angle, but for now all I want is for you to write down which way you would solve it. Okay, so pause now and do that quickly for me. Okay, so what we should hopefully have got is, for the first one, we've got all sides, there are no angles mentioned. If there's no angles mentioned, we go straight to Pythagoras. Okay, second one, we have got an angle mentioned. Okay, we're trying to find a missing side, which means it's got to be trigonometry. We've got given to us, we have the opposite and we have the hypotenuse. Because we've got the opposite and hypotenuse, we should be using sine. Next one, again, angle side, but this time I'm finding the opposite and I've got the adjacent, therefore I'm going to want tan. Next one, I'm after an angle, okay, and I've got 2 sides. Because I'm after an angle, it has to be trig. I've got opposite and adjacent, so again, it's going to be tan, but this time to find the missing angle. So hopefully you can remember from last lesson, rather than just tan, what you're actually going to be using is tan to the minus 1. Next one, you've got 2 sides, and we're trying to find a third side, so no angles involved at all, which means we're going to be using Pythagoras again. Last one, we've got an angle and we've got 2 sides. However, we cannot use any of these above because the angle we've got is not a right angle. Okay, so we currently do not have a way of working this out. And that's what we're going to look at today. Okay, because there is a way for us to work out this missing angle. You just haven't started it yet. So, this is the question. So what do I do when I've got a missing angle or a missing side, but crucially, it is a non-right angle triangle? Okay, so there's no right angles at all, so I cannot use Pythagoras or my basic trigonometric functions. Okay, right. First thing I want you to do, I want you to pause the video now. I want you to get the Discover Sine Rule worksheet from Show My Homework. I want you to fill in all the boxes it tells you to. Okay, so fill in all the little a's and the big A's. Okay, little a's will be the lengths, the big A's will be the angles. Fill them all in, have a look at it, mark your work, and then we can see where we get to. So pause now. I need you to complete that worksheet and mark it, please. Okay, we should have completed that worksheet now, and I'm hoping you have noticed something. Okay, what we should have noticed is all of those triangles, when I did A, which was the side, divided by sine A, and then B divided by sine D, and then C divided by sine C, I got the same answer each time, or at least very close to the same answer. Okay, now this is our first new rule. Now this is called the sine rule. Okay, it's called the sine rule, mainly because it obviously has sine included in it. What this now means is if we have a non-right angle triangle, but we are given sides and angles, we can work these out. So if I've got my triangle in the bottom right, the one we looked at before, if I label up my sides, so this one's going to be B, because I've got a B already. I can have A and I can have C. The opposite ones, as it shows you above, will match up. So we'll have little b there, little a there, and little c there. Okay, so they've always got to match up. What that now means is, as long as I've got a matching pair, so if I fill in my little formula from above, I know that 41, because that's the side length for A, over sine of 92 is the same as B over, 28 over sine B. which is the same as C over sine C. Now what we're looking for is we have to make sure we have got a matching pair somewhere so we can find that missing answer. So what we've got from this is from this part here, so from my 92 degrees and my 41, I now have a matching pair. What we need to get used to is get used to getting these set up so that they will work for us. So, what you have to make sure each time, okay, is that you can see a matching pair. If there's no matching pair, we cannot use sine rule. Okay, so in the first one, I have a matching pair that are opposite each other. Therefore, I can definitely use sine rule on that triangle. On the next one, I have a matching pair opposite each other. Therefore, I can definitely use sine rule. The last one, I need to ask myself, do I have a matching pair? Well, if my x is there, I've got 112, but I've got no matching pair anywhere for me to be able to use the sine rule. Okay, there's no matching pair available, so I cannot use the sine rule for that. We have to have an angle and its opposite side in order to use it. Okay, if we haven't got it, this will not work for us. So, let's have a look at a question. Oh, first of all, you've got 7 triangles on the screen. What I want you to do now, again, pause, and I want you to tell me, tick or cross, can I use the sine rule or not? Remember, we have to have a matching pair in order for us to use it. That doesn't include the algebra. We've just got to have a matching pair. So pause, and can you tell me if we can or cannot use them? Okay, right. Let's have a look then. So, first one. I've got 92 degrees and I've got a 41. They are opposite each other. Therefore, yes, I can definitely use the sine rule. The next one. I have a matching pair. I've got 100. I've got 5.1. As long as I've got a matching pair, I can use the sine rule. So that's another yes. The next one. I've got all my lengths, but I've got no angles. Because I've got no angles where I've got a numerical value for, I cannot use the sine rule because I haven't got a full matching pair. If we go down to the one at the bottom left, again, I've got sides and I've got angles, but none of them are opposite each other. Because none are opposite each other, I can't work out that initial value. Therefore, again, I cannot use sine rule for that one. We have to have an angle and a matching side for us to be able to work it out. On to the one in the middle. I've got 21 and I've got a 95. I now have a matching angle and a matching side. Therefore, I would be able to use sine rule to work it out. Next one. I've got 2 sides. All I've got is 2 sides, okay? But if we notice carefully, we've got a 90-degree angle down here. So technically, I know what that angle is as 90. Because I know what that angle is, what it means is I have a matching pair. I can work out what that missing part is. Okay. However, what I would hope you would notice first is the fact that this is just going to be a case of Pythagoras. Because it's a case of Pythagoras, we can work straight through it. Okay, we could just use Pythagoras to find the missing part. Last one. I have no angles given to me, therefore I cannot use Pythagoras. Cannot use the sine rule on it because I do not have a matching pair again. Okay, right. A couple of them I'm just going to talk through with you. Okay, so I can see straight away from this I've got a matching pair of an angle and a side. Therefore I'm happy, I'm confident I can use the sine rule straight away. Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm labelled up. I'm just going to label the other 2 sides I haven't got, and I can then begin setting up. Now what we want to do each time is make sure we are using A over sine A. equals b over sine b equals c over sine c. Okay, exactly what you found from your worksheet before. I'm going to fill in everything I know. So it's a over sine 37. Okay, so we'll go a over sine 37 equals b over sine b equals 7.9 over sine 83. Now, because I am trying to find a, this is the one I'm trying to find. Okay, that's what I've been asked to. And this is the one that's got my full amount. They are the two I'm interested in. So I'm going to ignore the b sine b. That doesn't help me at the moment. So I've got a over sine 37 equals 7.9 over sine 83. Now, I've set this up in this particular way first. I always want my sides on top at the moment, because all I've now got to do is do a little bit of balancing and I can find out what a is. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just multiply up or multiply both sides by sine 37. And what that will then leave me with is a equaling 7.9 sine 37 over sine of 83, and that will then give me my answer. So through my calculator, I'm going to go 7.9 sine 37. Make sure your 37 is in brackets when you put it into your calculator. Over sine of 83, again, brackets for our 83. Hit your equal sign, and correct to three significant figures will give us 4.79 centimetres. Okay, so it's all about using the formula we worked out at the start, which is this one here. Okay, sub in everything we know, find the two parts we're interested in, and we can manipulate from there. So, we'll try the next one. Label everything up. Well, if I've got a little a there, then opposite's going to be a. Doesn't matter how I label the other ones up, so if I do BC, B goes opposite, C goes opposite. I'm going to write my formula out, so it's a over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. I'm going to fill in all the bits I know. So I've got A over sine 55 equals B over sine B equals 12 over sine 72. The bit that I'm after is A again. That's the bit I've been asked to find. I know that I can work out what my missing thing is using this one because that's my matching pair. So these are the two I'm going to be interested in. I'm going to take these two down. So I'll have A over sine 55 equals 12 over sine 72. And I'm back in the same position I was just here. All I'm going to do is balance my equation so I can have A on its own. And to do that, all I need to do is multiply up by sine of 55. So I will be left with A equals 12 sine 55 over sine of 72. That can go straight into my calculator, again making sure that your angles have brackets around them. So I'll go 12 sine of 55 over sine of 72. Should look exactly like that in your calculator, and I can have my answer at 12.3 centimetres. Okay, nothing too difficult with this, guys. Just about making sure we remember this little formula we've got. Okay, remember the relationship between the ratios. Fill in everything you know. Okay, if your triangle's not labelled up, make sure you label it all up. Fill in everything you know. Select the two pieces that you're interested in. One, we've got to have a matching pair for this to work. And then it's just about balancing your equation, a bit of cross multiplication, and we can find our final answer. Okay, right. What I want you to do is pause now. Can you have a go at this question for me? Okay, what I will do is I'm just going to give you those labels. Okay, pause now, have a go, and can you find the value of x for me, please? Okay, right, let's have a look then, guys. So, first thing's got to be always to finish labelling our triangle up. Okay, so we always label opposite. It doesn't matter if you're not given the A, B's and C's, just label them up however you want to. Okay, and we're always going to start from A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. We fill in everything we know. So I've got 10 over sine 52 equals B over sine B equals C over sine 80. Okay, I'm after x that's here. Therefore, the two I'm interested in are my matching pair, which is here, and the one that's got x in that I'm looking for. So I'll bring those two down. So I'll end up with 10 over sine 52 equals x over sine 80. Now this time, what you'll see is that we're actually the other way around. So our unknown is on the right-hand side. Now that doesn't matter at all. All we're going to do, same as we did before, is balance to make x the subject. So all I've got to do is take my sine 80 and multiply both sides by it. So what I'll end up with is 10 sine 80, making sure your 80 is in brackets, divided by sine of 52. Again, the 52 needs to be in brackets on your calculator. And that's going to equal our value of x. Straight through your calculators again. So 10 sine 80 divided by sine of 52. And we'll get to our answer of x equaling 12.5 centimetres. Always all comes back to this formula at the top. However, the only way this works, guys, is if you have a matching pair. In this case, the matching pair is right here with my 52 and 10. You have to have a matching pair for it to work, and then we can work our way through. There is one more that I just want to show you before I set you on to do your own work. Now, the question we are given here, okay, is a little bit different. So I've got an 80-degree angle, a 55-degree angle, a 6 centimetre side and an x. Now, when I first look at this, I've got no matching side, okay, because I haven't got a matching pair, because I've got nothing opposite my 55, and the only thing opposite my 80 is my x. So I haven't got a matching pair. However, we can make it so that we can find a matching pair. If I look carefully, what you see is I've got two angles. Now I know that angles in a triangle add up to 180, so what I can do is I can find this missing angle. So I know this missing angle must be 180 minus the two added together. So that must mean my missing angle should be 45 degrees. By working out that missing angle, I now have my matching pair. Therefore, I can now use the sine rule and I can use it accurately. So if you've got two angles in your triangle, you can always find that third angle and work with that and use that as part of your matching pair. Apart from that, I go through the same way. So have A, B and C labelled however you want to. I have to label opposite with the same letter. And I go back to my formula again. So we go A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Fill in everything you know. So we'll have 6 over sine 45 equals x over sine 80 equals C over sine 55. Now, because the one I am after is x just here, and because that fraction there has got my matching pair, they are the two that I take down. So I'm just now focused on 6 over sine 45 equals x over sine 80. I need x on its own, so all I'm going to do is multiply both sides by sine 80. So I'll multiply that up, and I'll be left with 6 sine 80 over sine 45 equals x. We go straight through our calculators, so we'll have 6 sine of 80 divided by sine of 45, and we can get our answer at 8.36 centimetres. So it's an important thing to remember that when we get to this position, what we can always do is, if we've got two angles like I had here, I can work out my third angle and then I can apply sine rule still. Okay, doesn't work with sides, okay, but it will always work that if you've got two angles, you can always find your third angle. So make sure you are on the lookout for that. What I now want you to do, back on to show my homework for me, have a look at the worksheet that is on there.